Peace and prosperity be unto all who's listening and watching. It's your girl, Shaeranea, right now. I'm back with another video. And I just want to say, you guys, it's a lot going on in the world. It's a lot going on in our lives. It's a lot going on in ourselves. And life is truly a game of chess, if anybody didn't know that. But life is truly about making wise decisions and being strategic and logical and making the right moves at the right time with the right place, and knowing how certain moves affect your life based on knowing all the actions and moves come with, like the consequences of every actions and move and choice and decisions that we make. So yeah, the world is filled with much hate. It's a lot of oppression. It's been that way for many years. It's a lot going on right now. Protesting, I believe protesting is good because, yes, it's an act of the unheard. But even in protesting, we must do more. There was a protest here yesterday in Shaeranea, Arkansas. So I believe that the protesting is amazing. It's great. I'm not against everything that people are against. I know one thing about living is just that I know people always remember God's love. People always remember God's mercy. People remember God's forgiveness. People remember everything good, but forget the God of wrath. Forget that God does lead wars, and that God do have like holy soldiers that fight in his name, in his honor, for the things in which he desires. You must never forget that since the age of time, there has always been someone oppressed, whether it was those who believe in God or those who didn't believe in God. Either or, it was always someone oppressed in some kind of way. And enslavement of mind is really huge in society now, because mental enslavement is worse than physical enslavement, because it doesn't matter if you're locked away in a pen or a jail cell. You can mentally be free from anything. If you win the battle in your mind, you win the battle in life. So you can mentally and physically be you can mentally be locked away in prison every single day and be physically free. You can physically be free and be locked up mentally. So you have to win the battle in your mind. You have to come to some sort of agreement and understand that though everything has its purpose, everything has its reason for why it's happened, and though everybody doesn't have the answers, we can come to some agreement to know that my people have a right to speak up for the things in which they believe strongly. I am fully for protesting. I am fully for my people. I am fully for what they desire and what they believe to be right, but not always. I'm not saying that, burning everything is the answer, but I'm gonna just let you guys know that it's not black people burning down things. Yes, that is not black people burning down buildings and destroying businesses and laundering and writing BML on the buildings. You guys, you have to understand that there's always somebody who's always trying to undermine those who are angry. And when you live off emotions, when you live off anger with no direction or how to go about it, with no strategic plan of how you're going to do it, sometimes you can overlook the fact that there's someone always around. Even in the midst of peace, there's somebody looking to cause chaos or imbalance, and there always must be yin and yang. If there's no yin and yang in the balance, whether there's a peaceful protest, there's going to be some chaos. It has to lead to something it can't just stay peaceful, and it doesn't always end up that way. What I don't really get is how people can protest about opening barbershops and protest about games and protest about things that are meaningless, like meaningless to someone's life, and not be hurt, not be smoked out, not be, punished for doing that. But we stand peacefully amongst each other, and it turns into some sort of violence, a riot, a civil war within ourselves. And the strategic thing is they're trying to turn people and the citizens of each other to turn against each other. And all we have is ourselves. And if we don't learn to work together and make sure that we don't let them undermine us by putting us in a position where we will destroy each other, then we're the ones not thinking, because then we allow them to win, and we don't want them to get the upper hand. I mean, yeah, they've been having the upper hand for the longest of time, but right now is the time where when we're all together in unity, we can have the biggest influence right now. Like, the biggest time to do anything is now, because everybody's coming and falling in line and together. So we must find a solution of making things work out. So I don't know what other people think about the riots and stuff. I think the protests are good, but the riots, I don't think the people caused the riots. I think undercover cops caused those. Matter of fact, I know, but to just distract people to believe one thing, see, social media always show one part of something instead of showing all of it, and it's causing people to be deceived. It's causing people to be deceived and to believe in things that are not true, and it's making it harder for people in general, because no one knows the full story. Everybody knows only what is shown or what is told, and that is no good. So at this point, you have to put the pieces together. You have to have a clear sense of judgment of your own, and you have to have a better understanding. You have to think with clarity and wisdom and understanding and even discernment. At a point, you got to come to a point where you understand that they're trying to turn us against each other, and though we have the right, based on the amendment itself, to peacefully protest and speak for our rights, and it is our right to speak up, okay? Because many ancestors died for the very right in which we hold and possess. So it's time that you stand firmly together as one, and don't allow the oppressor to break the unity, because the ignorancy of emotions are being ate upon, because no one is clearly thinking about what decisions they're making. If we come together like we done to protest, we can all come together as intellectuals, as individuals with the right to speak and express ourselves and express a solution in which could lead to more progress for the Black community and further on for more people, for our people. So we must come together and have a solution that will make things a lot better for us. Now, it's going to require a process, and it's going to require time, and it's going to require us coming together and aligning our minds to really think of something that we all agree upon. This is the time now to really think about what it is that the Black community is seeking and what it is that we desire. We speak of retribution for a very long time. I don't believe that retribution is a quantity of money or any gains of that, or a mule and cow. It's not even that. It's the matter of injustice and what equivalizes to justice for us as a Black people. And when we get that justice, what do we expect justice to be? What is justice for the black community? And that's really what we need to say. We need to see justice. We need to see people being held accountable. We need to see people being put in their place. We need to see people who are leaders, set, and cops, and all these different people. We need to see them being held accountable. And at this point, it came to this point where people above us are never held to that bar. But anybody above average gets beyond the death penalty for crimes and things that they commit, but they easily get off. And I totally get why they get off, because they have all these secret societies and codes and things like that that keeps them from being locked away or killed or tortured or whatever the case may be. But we live in a cold world, and until we insist upon justice and a lawful manner, in a lawful way, and we demand that justice as a unity, until we demand justice as a unity and come together as one mind, one heart, one spirit, we can never get the justice in which we seek. So it's just the retribution is the injustice in which we seek to gain justice for, by gaining equality, to get everybody in society to a point where everybody's being held accountable and no one's getting off. No matter who you are, no matter if you're red, green, blue, orange, like, everybody has to be held accountable at this point. And that's what it boils down to, accountability in so many different ways. But it's also, from a political standpoint, it's just like they want to mess with your mind. So if you're not strong-minded and you're not really sure or educated on what's going on, they're really just playing with you guys. So you really need to be mindful and educate yourself. And please stop saying you don't see color. And I understand it's a lot of people who don't see color, but one thing for sure, to see me is to know that I am different and that I am not like you. And to say that you don't see color because you don't see color, and I know that's a form of lens and it's a form of perspective, because all that has to do is a switching of the mind. Your way of seeing is somewhat the problem too. So I need you guys to see beyond saying stuff like you don't see color. You see color. It's color there. Like, yeah, I know love is love, but at the end of the day, we are colored people. We are people of black descent, and we desire justice. We desire equality. We desire to be treated right. We desire our people not to be lynched and killed. We desire better for our families, children, men, and women. So, love you guys. Hope you have a prosperous day. And if you have any solutions that you want to come in line with, you know anybody, any big groups out there that's coming together, comment down below the group that you're in. Let me know and I'll join, because people need to come together and really, intellectuals really need to put their heads together. We're empowering powerful black people. We must come together in our minds before we can get together in action. We have to make it a decision, and then we act upon that decision as a unity. Love you guys.